I don't believe what I just saw.
This is one of the great moments in the history of baseball.
I believe in miracles. Yes!
Is this the dagger?
Frank, I love you having the mic.
I do too.
So, feel free to chime.
Yeah,
Chime in.
please chime.
Chime and chirp. Welcome to Chime and Chirp.
Chime and Chirp.
Show where we talk
Your
about
host,
bird watching and talking with Frank Russo.
This week in bird watching.
Chimes.
Chime and
You know
chirp.
how many chimes are out in the market right now?
There's just so many chimes.
A lot of times.
Ding, ding. Well, that chime says, Mike, it's time to rock.
Are we rolling?
I believe this is
You
happening.
know what chime it is.
Thanks, Matt.
Was I late to the party with
No,
that?
Doing
make sure
auditions.
that's in.
Matt, make sure that hat's compliant. Plain blue T-shirt, no logo on the cap. What is this?
Sponsored
like
by, we're seeking
Naomi
a
Klein
sponsor.
over here. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. See, much better. Yeah, my voice went lower too when you did that.
it's
Yeah.
it's every little league team on a CBC show from 1988 where they
That's
couldn't
right.
afford to pay any royalties.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on that sponsorship. That'll
That's
go on the hat.
Oh, okay, that's gonna go in that hat.
There you go.
Okay, good. Oh, okay, we're gonna get some sponsors
Sort
on
of
there.
realty company.
Get a bunch of sponsors on that hat of yours, Matt.
It'll be like a NASCAR car.
Well, that's the show. That's what happened on April 29th.
Fill the hat.
Yeah,
All right, we ready?
I think we're ready.
3, 2. April 29th on this day in sports. On today's episode, the Detroit Lions got it right for once, and it still went wrong. The mustache gets a game winner. The Rocket reaches record heights. The Joe Adcock Club is very hard to get into. A Cubs manager hating Cubs fans. The grumpiest lefty makes history. The Texans keep away from the bush. A historic losing streak comes to an end. And a really horrible human being, even for pro sports owners, is no longer an NBA owner. Welcome to April 29th on this day in sports.
We have an intro that includes the words cock and bush. Cock and bush are newspaper. I'm so sorry.
The word was
What?
ad
I'm
hoc.
so much better. I'm so much better than that.
You are better than
But
that.
speaking of which, let's talk about Cabin, Barber, and Gentleman Supply.
Speaking of bush,
If you want to make yourself into a better person, where do you
Thank
go, Sandy?
Thank you so much, and I appreciate that.
That's a
It
lead
says
in.
Cabin, Barber, and Gentleman Supply, which we are proudly welcoming aboard in these past few episodes. I don't know how many episodes now they've been sponsoring us, but they've been so great because they also allow us to use the space here. Cabin, of course, is a great place to get a haircut, but also to pick up all the supplies you need to be a gentleman. And that's the things I need to become as a gentleman. So I need to get the right
That's right.
supplies
Yep.
to do that.
Yep.
And this place smells great, first of all. Smells fantastic. Looks fantastic. Feels fantastic. Gentlemen's Barber's Cabin. I'm going to read backwards. Cabin, Barbers, and Gentleman's Supply. If you read, it's like I spun a Black Sabbath record backwards. It goes,
Yeah.
Supply Gentlemen's and Barber, Cabin, Satan. Come on down. Get yourself a haircut. Get what you need. You're going to come in here and get some fancy socks. You're going to get here a fancy wallet. You're going to get a nice sweatshirt.
I say it every
Yeah.
time, but the nicest staff in the world, too.
Nicest people.
Really nice people.
And they don't have to be nice to us.
Every single one of them. Yeah, no, in fact, we're kind of annoying them, but they're always very nice.
So nice here. Great place to work. Cabin has 3 locations, including the Port Credit location, which we, of course, are now recording from. Get a shave, get a cut, get a ton of compliments because you are going to have a fresh Cabin look when you walk out of Cabin, Barber and Gentleman Supply. For more, check out cabinforlife.ca. Become a whole new human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, and check out those sweatshirts. If you
Thank
like
you.
one, you better get it quick because
We're getting one.
I got
Yeah,
a feeling you are coming our way, yeah.
so buy yours now because
Yeah.
I feel like ours are coming in any day now.
Absolutely.
I'm going to shoot lower and aim for just some pomade or something.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Maybe a cigar
Yeah.
snipper.
Start
Yeah.
small. Start small.
That's right.
Cabin-
Beard oil
Beard oil.
for when I
No beard.
for when I grow up.
Hey,
beard.
what's in your hair? Beard oil. Wow. Okay.
It'll be like the illegal substance on a picture.
See, I put it under my arms. That's why I need Cabin's help to get it in the right place.
Oh, they direct where the
They help me
beard
out.
oil should go.
Where beard oil should go, yeah.
This has
That's-
been
for
a
the
great
love of
episode. What a great episode. Matt, let's show them how the show should work.
April 29th, 1978.
Yes.
Toronto's Lanny McDonald scored at 4 minutes and 13 seconds of the first overtime period of Game 7 to defeat the Islanders in a quarterfinal playoff series. The Maple Leafs were huge underdogs in the series. New York had the most points in the Campbell Conference that year, but the Leafs rallied from being down 2-0 and then from 3-1 to win that series. That was the only year that the Leafs won a playoff series between 1968 and 1993.
Oof.
And it was only the 7th overtime goal to decide a Game 7 in NHL history, playoff history at that point.
Wow.
Mike, where does that fit into your Islanders legacy?
I was 6 or 7, so it's not a haunting. I have no memory of such thing. I don't remember it.
What was the first year the Islanders won the Cup?
1980.
1980.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
This
just
is
old enough.
78.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was just old enough to be cognizant of it, becoming a sports fan at the time.
But this is Trottier, Potvin, Bossy. Those guys are all on this team. And they were against Toronto at this time, had Sittler, McDonald,
Yeah.
Salming.
Yeah.
Of note, Lanny was lucky against the Islanders. He also got his 500th goal against them in 1989. Lanny McDonald had exactly 500 goals.
I was just going to
That's
say
pretty-
the 500th and last of his
yeah,
career. Yeah.
500 goals and 506 assists.
Hey, there you go.
Pretty great.
And a hell of a mustache.
Yeah.
Hell of a mustache.
Hell of a gentleman, too.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
Lenny McDonald.
He'd do great here.
He's really nice. I met Lenny. You met Lenny McDonald?
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
yeah.
Of course.
Everybody's met Lenny.
Everybody.
Well, no, because he came down to Second City and improvised with us.
Oh,
Him
okay.
and Daryl Sittler came down one night, and Lanny was very nervous, and he put his hand on my shoulder during a scene, and it just continued to clench more and more. I honestly thought he was just going to snap my arm off my body.
God bless
The
him.
meat hooks, absolute meat hooks,
Sure.
digging into my shoulder. I was like, Lanny, you got to
You
ease
could
up,
always
bud.
tell Lanny was a great guy, though.
Mike
Fantastic.
does the same thing to me during the podcast.
I'm doing it right now.
And I love that Daryl and Lanny are like best friends and still are. And
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's get those guys in the show, guys.
Let's do it.
Frank, let's get Lanny
Make
on
some
the
Frank
horn.
calls. Yeah, we'll
Call
make some
Lanny
Frank
right now.
calls.
All right, let's do it. Who wants to go next? I guess I'll go.
Yeah.
Why not? This is great. 1953, Milwaukee's Joe Adcock became the first player ever to hit a home run over the center field wall at New York's Polo Grounds Stadium during a game versus the Giants. The base of the center field wall, famously immortalized by Willie Mays' catch in the 1954 World Series off of Vic Wertz, was 483 feet away from home plate. 483 feet. Now, friends, go down to your local ballpark.
Yeah.
Look at the walls. None of them are going to say 483.
No.
That's how far he hit it. And only 2 other players ever did that, Hank Aaron and Lou Brock. Adcock is also one of only 18 players to hit 4 home runs in an MLB game.
I couldn't find out if the 483 is the base of the wall
Right.
or is that how high it is at the top of the wall. But either way,
Yeah.
it's an absurd.
It's insane. That's
Yeah.
an absolute bomb. And then Joe Adcock, a fantastic player, fantastic first baseman, overshadowed, of course, because he had Matthews and Aaron playing with those Braves teams.
Yeah.
But he was certainly a huge part of them winning the World Series in 57 and losing the World Series in 58, unfortunately, in 7 games to the Yankees, if you're a Milwaukee Braves fan. But he was a fantastic player who not a lot of people know about, but could absolutely kill the ball, play first. And how many
And-
fans know him?
No, 4 homers in a game. That's rarer than perfect games.
Yeah.
There's only 18 times that's happened.
You have to be so good.
Didn't Scooter do that?
Scooter.
Scooter Jeanette? How do you
Scooter
say it?
Jeanette.
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, we're
You're
not
trying to
talking about-
diminish Joe's accomplishments.
Not
but
at all.
Stop it.
I think it sounded exactly like that's what you're doing.
I'm just raising up
Didn't
Scooter.
Scooter Jeanette do that?
He's one of the 18. I
Yeah,
think that's
he sure
Okay,
is.
thank you. It could happen.
Okay.
Can we just give Joe Adcock
yeah,
some
seriously.
credit and leave it there, Matt?
I'm going to go down to my.
It's not your
I'm going to go
turn.
look at this wall.
You know what? That's a great idea. Probably not there anymore.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
No, just roll on down to Harlem, Matt. I don't know. All right, go ahead.
All right. 1983, after a particularly difficult 4-3 home loss to the Dodgers, Cubs manager Lee Elia went on a historically foul-mouthed, ranting tirade against hometown Chicago fans, booing his team as a few reporters in the office listened in. Quote, I hope we get hotter than shit just to stuff it up them 3,000 fucking people that show up here every day. Those motherfuckers don't even work. That's why they're out at the game. A fucking playground for those cocksuckers. 85% of the people in this country work and the other 15% come out here and boo my players. They ought to get an effing job and learn what it's like to earn an effing living, I figure.
Why are you stopping the Fox?
Whoa.
You've already gone
Because
so far.
Kippen is
Okay.
exhaling every time I do it.
You guys got pretty
They talk. Oh, now you've never mind.
Keep it going.
No,
They talk about the great fucking support that players get around here. My fucking ass. I haven't seen it.
There you go.
Higher. Use the high voice.
That's it. You got to get into it.
Lee Elia done by two different people.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's just use this as our vocal warm up for the show. What a rant! Holy
good.
cow! Did you
that's
find
great.
this? Have you found this?
Yeah,
rant?
there's clips of it, and you can there's a it's
I have
pretty fantastic.
I've had a long life, and I've never seen it.
Wow.
I've got to find this thing.
It's great.
Holy cow! It's such a great one.
Yeah,
That's like. It's like
I want this guy to speak at your funeral, Matt.
Oh man.
I mean, sorry, Matt, your wedding. Wait,
Thank you.
already had
Wait,
that.
Yeah. It's like okay.
Imagine that guy going off.
Okay.
Your trial. Speaking at your trial.
My trial.
I wanted to be your lawyer. There, I found it. I found it in the third one.
But he's berating me at my own trial.
Yeah, how great would that be?
All right. I'm willing to try it. 1981. Philadelphia's Steve Carlton became the first left-handed pitcher to strike out 3,000 batters in his career when he struck out Montreal's Tim Wallach. Only 19 pitchers reached 3,000 strikeouts. The other two lefties to do it are Randy Johnson and CC Sabathia. But Kershaw needs, less than 200?
yeah,
So maybe he'll probably be the fourth.
seems likely.
Carlton, of course, 4 Cy Young Awards. Pretty good pitcher.
Not too bad.
1981.
And a fantastic and a fascinating person. Hated the media. He did not get along with the media at all.
Didn't talk to them.
Didn't talk to them. Refused to talk to them.
Yeah,
Interesting person, Steve Carlton.
yeah.
And yet people, it wasn't like he was a bad person. It's just
No,
know how to get a connection with
He
the
just
media.
really made for 15 years. He did not talk to the media
No.
at all,
No.
ever.
And, but, nowadays you could see it just going, well, we're not going to vote him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
You
or
just
something.
could
I
not
know,
do
I
that.
know. He
You
was
could
just
not
too
do
good.
that.
You couldn't ignore him.
Exactly. What do you got there, Mike?
I thought it was you, SJB.
Is it me? Really?
Yeah,
me?
I think so.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, okay.
You got to do the voice.
In Fenway Park, 1986. April 29th, 1986, Fenway Park, Boston's Roger Clemens becomes the first pitcher in Major League Baseball history to strike out 20 batters in a 9-inning game where he faced just 30 hitters. So against the Mariners that day, he allowed 3 hits, including a home run to Gorman Thomas and 0 walks. He struck out Phil Bradley 4 times that day and got Dave Henderson, Ken Phelps, and Yvon Calderon 3 times each. He threw 138 pitches. Calderon struck out 3 times on 9 pitches. The Red Sox won the game 3-1. Later that year, Clemens won his first of 7 Cy Young Awards and was named AL MVP. He finished the year 24-4 with a 2.48 ERA and 238 Ks over 254 innings, including 10 complete games. Clemens would strike out 20 batters in a game versus Detroit over 10 years later. The only other pitchers to strike out 20 in a game, Kerry Wood, Max Scherzer, and Randy Johnson. Incredibly, Johnson did not even get a win in his game, and Scherzer had a chance to reach 21, but James McCann grounded out for the final out of the game.
Yeah, I think Scherzer's the only one who the 20th K wasn't the last out.
Oh, got
You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
like he actually had a chance to go to 21, but he
got the
didn't
ground
get
out.
it. Yeah.
Well, Roger Clemens, that's I mean,
138 pitches.
Yeah.
1986. Everything was going great for him, and then he cried at the end because it didn't go great for the Red Sox at the end of '86.
No, it didn't.
But hey, what a season!
2014, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver announced that LA Clippers owner Donald Sterling had been banned from the NBA for life and
you.
fined $2.5 million, which was the highest possible fine in the NBA Constitution, for racist remarks he made to his mistress that were recorded and made public by her. Soon afterwards, he was forced to sell the team for $2 billion to Steve Ballmer, making the rest of us have to watch Steve Ballmer during Clippers games and watch his reactions all the time. As recently as 2009, the Clippers under his ownership had been named by ESPN as the worst organization in pro sports, and Forbes and the New York Times had called Sterling the worst owner in sports. He was known to sit courtside and heckle his own players, including Baron Davis, and he was so cheap that up until 2008, the team had no practice facility of its own. They held practices at a local gym in El Segundo. That's not a joke.
Wow.
Imagine trying to recruit free agents to come to the
Yeah.
Clippers, and you're like, well, we practice over at the Y
Yeah.
between 4 and 5:30 before a bunch of guys come on and take the court away from us. Like, I read the Clippers, the book about the Clippers,
The curse.
their sort of history, the curse. Donald Sterling is like, he might be the worst human being.
Yeah.
He's in the top 10 ever.
Yeah.
And he just happened to be a rich guy who owned that team. And the worst part is he walks away with $2 billion.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the idea that you were forced to sell for $2 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fans don't get that money. He does.
God, yeah.
Anyway, that was today in 2014.
Yeah. I mean, look at, the Washington Football Club.
Right. Dan
Schneider.
1988. The Baltimore Orioles ended their MLB record 21-game losing streak to start the season. They defeated the White Sox 9-0 in Chicago. So this losing streak saw manager Cal Ripken Sr. fired 6 games into the season, but they still lost 15 more consecutive games under new bench boss Frank Robinson. So they finished that season 54-107, 34 and a half games behind Boston, who won the AL East. And Boston weren't exactly lighting it up either. So they only won 89 games that year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this Orioles team, despite having Cal Ripken Jr., Eddie Murray, Fred Lynn, Mickey Tettleton, it was pretty bad.
I can't imagine. Yeah.
I remember the cover of Sports Illustrated. Just had the saddest scoreboard, and everyone just looking so sad as a kid going, and it felt just so painful.
So it's April
Just
29th,
win.
and you're the Orioles, and you're like, not only do you have no chance, but you haven't had a chance for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like you're done.
Yeah, and I've got 5 more
And
months
I've
of
got
this.
5 months
Yeah.
of slogging it out.
Yeah.
Watch another team. Oh man, that's hard.
Pitcher Mike Boddicker had lost 5 decisions on his own before the team ever won a game.
Wow. and just noted that 2 guys' dad got fired. Billy and Cal saw their dad get
that's
right. They
that
both
can't
played for that team.
be
That's
nice.
right.
Oh, yeah.
They did have a rookie named Kurt Schilling, but even he went 0-3 that year with a 9.82 ERA.
Whoa.
Wow.
Man, that's colossally, it's
That-
just so
yeah.
embarrassing and sad.
Sometimes that rallies a fan base together, though, you know?
I don't know that it did.
I have my doubts.
Hey, friends, in 2007, Suns guard Steve Nash, friend of the show, Steve Nash. When he, what?
We're going to get him.
He's going to be on our final episode. Had 23 assists in a playoff game versus LA. Phoenix defeated the Lakers 113-100. 23 assists is one shy of the all-time NBA record in a playoff game. The record is 24, shared by John Stockton and Magic Johnson. They also both had 23 in a game as well. Steve Nash, get on the show, because April 29th, 2007, that's what you did.
Yep. 1980, the Detroit Lions selected University of Oklahoma running back Billy Sims with the first overall pick of the NFL draft. He was named NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year that year and played in 3 Pro Bowls and had 3,000-yard rushing seasons with the Lions, but suffered a catastrophic knee injury in October 1984 and never played in the NFL again. He'd won the Heisman Trophy in 78 and then came back to OU. Imagine somebody doing that now.
No.
Then came back to OU for his senior season and finished second in Heisman voting to Charles White of USC. His uniform number 20 has been unofficially retired by Detroit as part of the great trio of running backs to wear it for the Lions, him, Barry Sanders, and Lem Barney. That year's draft had 3 Hall of Famers, so there you go. 3 is not bad.
Yep.
Art Monk, Anthony Munoz, and Dwight Stevenson. It was also the first draft to be entirely televised. It was on the newly launched ESPN that year, which had just started a few months earlier.
Yes, coming to us from Connecticut.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's right. Bristol, Connecticut.
Bristol, Connecticut, yes.
That's right.
I'm going to stick with football and go in 2006. The Texans selected North Carolina State defensive lineman Mario Williams with the first overall pick in the NFL draft. Of course, you remember this. This was the controversial pick at the time because Heisman Trophy-winning USC running back Reggie Bush was seen by many to be the most talented player in the draft, but Houston stuck with Williams and let Bush be drafted by New Orleans with the second pick. Interestingly, Williams played 11 NFL seasons and made 4 Pro Bowls. Bush also played 11 seasons, but he never made a Pro Bowl. He had a good career. 2006 draft would be the last one hosted by Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. Undrafted that year was actor John David Washington, Denzel's son, out of Morehouse College. Yeah, he signed as a free agent and played with the St. Louis Rams, their practice squad.
Okay.
Never played with the team, but played with the practice squad. He played in NFL Europe, I think.
Okay.
Rainfire, also played in the UFL.
And now he's a movie star.
Now he's a movie star.
He is a movie star.
Yeah. Is
So-
Mario Williams? No.
No, but he's
No.
probably lives quite comfortably.
Yeah.
And
Reggie Bush is in Wendy's commercials.
is he?
Yeah.
Reggie Miller.
No, Reggie Bush has done them too.
Also.
Yeah. Also Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson, of course, has done the Wendy's
They
commercials.
only have Reggies. Yeah.
They only will have Reggies on there. You got a Reggie for us there, Matt? You got a Reggie's for
Reggie
us?
Cleveland.
Thank you, Reggie Cleveland. Let me tell you this. In 1993, Detroit's Dino Cicerelli.
Reggie Leach.
Reggie Leach, thank you.
So I didn't realize the game we were playing.
I was setting, okay. Reggie Leach, great answer there. 1993. Okay, no more Reggie's coming at me. Okay. Detroit's Dino Cicerelli became the first NHL player ever to have a playoff hat trick for 3 different teams when he scored 3 goals, all in the power play versus Toronto in a 7-3 Red Wings win over the Maple Leafs. He had previously had hat tricks in the postseason for Washington and Minnesota. I bring this one up because it's weird to hear Detroit's Dino Cicerelli. I will always think of him as a North Star.
Yeah.
Frank, you a Dino Cicerelli fan?
Huge fan. Yeah, he was awesome. He's another one of those guys that you wish was on your team, but you hate him when he's on another team.
That's correct.
And Hall of Famer who you sometimes forget about.
Yeah.
But the numbers are there.
Oh, yeah.
There's the career numbers.
63 years old.
Dino Cicerelli.
Yes, Dino. Should we go to some quick hits
Let's
now?
do it.
All right. Quick hits. 1961. ABC's Wide World of Sports made its television debut. The first episode covered the Drake University and University of Pennsylvania hosted track and field competitions. It was hosted by Jim McKay for all of its 40 years, or co-hosted for 40 years on air. And it was named by Time Magazine as one of the 100 best television programs of all time. Remember that thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, the ski jumper crashing, and that was like famous for people used to watch the show just to watch that footage.
I mean, one of the most famous openers, and it's amazing because at that time, because it was only network television, you had to tune in to watch what was going on in the world of sports.
Yeah.
It was amazing to see that stuff you'd never have known about.
Yeah, and the yellow sport coats.
Oh yeah,
Famous.
All right, even quicker hit. 2007. Rookie shortstop Troy Tulowitzki had an unassisted triple play in the 7th inning versus Atlanta when Chipper Jones lined out to him. He stepped on second to retire Kelly Johnson, then tagged Edgar Renteria, who was running from first. There have only been 15 unassisted triple plays in MLB history, rarer than a perfect game, and none since 2009. But somehow Cleveland has had 3 of them.
wow.
Quick hits.
All right, let's do it. Let's go. Okay. 1985. Despite assurances that he would be there the whole season, Yankees owner George Steinbrenner fired manager Yogi Berra just 16 games into the season. This is like building on like our quick firings.
Yeah.
Replacing him with Billy Martin. It led to a feud between the two men that saw Berra refusing to do anything with his former team for nearly 15 years. Berra refused to do old-timers days, dedications, anything to do with the Yankees for about 15 years because of Steinbrenner's awesome move to fire Yogi Berra in 1985. Quick hit.
2000, at Madison Square Garden, Lennox Lewis knocked Michael Grant down 3 times in the first round and finally knocked him out for good late in the second round to retain the WBC and IBF heavyweight boxing titles. The two men's combined weight of 497 pounds made it the heaviest title fight in boxing history.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Quick hit!
Reggie White!
Quick hit!
Don't be
Reggie
so
White.
stunned.
I'm
Go.
sorry, I was stunned. It was 1997.
Reggie Wayne.
And,
Reggie Smith.
everybody was stunned when the Anaheim Ducks won their first playoff series in history in 1997 on April 29th, beating the Coyotes 3-0 in Game 7 of the Western Conference quarterfinals. Is it Guy Hebert? Yeah.
It's Guy Hebert
it's
in
Guy
California.
Hebert, gosh. Made 31 saves for the first playoff shutout of his career. The Ducks were swept by Detroit in the second round that year, but lost 3 of the 4 games in overtime. So that's good,
We don't get a lot of tennis in the show, Matt. Quick hit.
Quick hit.
Oh!
2022. Tennis great Boris Becker was sentenced to 30 months in prison for hiding assets during his bankruptcy trial. He served 8 months and was released before Christmas that year, taking a private jet back to Germany on the day of his release. He had been forced to sell off his trophies and awards from his career after creditors claimed he owed them nearly $40 million. But he apparently hid assets worth approximately $4.5 million. Boris Becker?
Yeah.
Dang.
I know. Quick hits. 1986, Auburn University running back Bo Jackson, selected by Tampa Bay with the first overall pick in the NFL draft held in New York City. Jackson refused to sign with the Bucs. He told them he wouldn't because you remember he went on a recruiting trip with the Bucs, and the owner assured him it wasn't a violation because he was still at school, and the owner was like, no, it's not a problem. And then it was, and he wasn't allowed to play college baseball as a result.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, that he couldn't play for Auburn's baseball team that spring because of that. So he told the Bucks flat out, "Don't draft me. I'm not going to play there." And they did anyway, and he refused to play. He went to play baseball for the Royals, and the Raiders drafted him later in the next year's draft, and he ended up playing for the Raiders. Bad move, Tampa.
Yeah, another. Matt, you got a quick hit?
I'm going to jump to a birthday. You can still quick hit it, but I want to do a birthday here because I want to do 1988 NHL All-Star Center. Jonathan Toews was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Great pick.
Jonathan Toews, who Brent Seabrook nicknamed Captain Serious.
Great nickname. Also, Captain Canada.
Didn't he just play his final game?
Well, with the Blackhawks,
yeah. He scored a goal in what looked to be his last game with the Blackhawks on April 13th, 2023.
Friends, I'm going back to the tennis well.
Oh, wow.
1970 tennis legend Andre Agassi, born in Vegas. Andre Agassi, one of the great sports bios of all time. Open, highly recommended. Open, one of the best out there. Friends of the show, go out there, get Open. Fantastic book by Andre Agassi. He was born 1970, April 29th, 1970.
Another birthday, 1934, Hall of Fame shortstop Louis Aparicio. And I hope I'm saying this correctly. Maracaibo, Venezuela. Louis Aparicio doesn't get a lot of mention, but a 13-time All-Star, 9 Gold Gloves, and 9 straight stolen base titles.
Yeah.
2,677 career hits, and he was the first native of Venezuela to be voted into the Hall of Fame in 1984. Yeah. Great player.
Yeah, legend, and where he played. I mean, it's
the White Sox
legend. I mean, and a super well-liked guy.
Yes, by everybody.
Everybody.
Birthday in 1983, NFL quarterback Jay Cutler was born in Santa Claus, Indiana. Does that sound right?
Sure.
I hope so.
Who would make that?
I don't know how else you say it. Santa Claus, Indiana. Wow.
Yep.
Look it up.
Man, Jay Cutler, one of the best. But really one of the best. 1967.
One of the top 20 quarterbacks in Bears history.
1967. NHL goalie Curtis Cujo Joseph in Keswick, Ontario. That is one of the best.
Yep.
Cujo should be absolutely in the Hall of Fame.
There's a guy you can get in a car and take a picture with.
Yes, that's right. Solid guy,
topical.
Curtis Joseph. Come on now.
Yeah. Are we tapped out now? Are we going to the draft?
Well, you know who else? You know who is tapped out?
No.
2015 death. PGA legend Kelvin Peete in Atlanta.
Oh no.
I just wanted to get that in there.
Okay. We had to get one death in there to make
so
sure we're paying attention.
As Jim Nance would say, goodbye, friends.
Shall I introduce today's draft?
Let's do it. Frank, you ready for this?
Brought to you by who?
Oh, well, thanks so much. This is actually, thank you, Frank.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Right.
okay.
We were
It's our
given
second sponsor.
We were given a bag. This is a surprise last-second sponsor. If you're in the greater Michigan area, in the Detroit area especially, you got to check out the original Detroit Cookie Co. They have all these cookies, and every one of these cookies comes with an explanation what's in here. Example, the B Special. Cinnabon flavored cookie swirled with, I believe it says dreads. But you can check that out.
Oh.
That's for you, Frank.
No, not while I'm
No, I'm
not
good
while I'm
now.
recording, Frank.
Okay.
My instrument.
But you know, Frank, you go ahead and have one of those
let
because
us know how they are.
we're still going to talk. There's a birthday cake one. There's a bro cookie, which is a brownie cookie.
Oh.
I mean, friends, the original Detroit Cookie Co. They're double chocolate coffee toffee. If you're in the
You can't
greater
lose.
Detroit area, make sure you check those out.
Okay.
I mean, that's our second sponsor of the day. What do you think, Matt?
That's gold.
I love the little rattle of a plastic bag. I think that added a little something.
Well, you know, listen to Frank open one up back there.
A little ASMR.
There you go. Oh, excellent work. There it is. Sounds perfect.
You're not going to
That's
believe
not
this,
good.
but I've put my notes in the wrong spot again. Frank, would you guide them for me?
I think
they're
that's
in my
great that
bag.
they gave
bag?
us those
This bag here?
cookies.
They gave us a bag of these
no.
cookies to check out for the
It's over there on the
podcast.
bench. Sorry.
Tell our friends about them. The Detroit Cookie Co. There's got to be 30 different kinds of
Oh
cookies.
no, they're
guys.
here. Never mind.
All very interesting. By old man Sheriff finds his
Do you have
finds
a
his notes.
favorite cookie, Sandy? Like not from them, but just if you're gonna
ginger snap.
ginger snap, eh?
I'm weirdly into ginger snap, and then at Christmas, of course, the gingerbread men. I love them.
Really?
Gingerbread.
You're just all about ginger, eh? You
Love
like
the
it?
gingerbread.
Okay.
How about you, Matt? What do you got?
Oh, I oatmeal chocolate chip, not just chocolate chip. I like an oatmeal chocolate chip.
Oh, that's a nice one. Mike?
I'm going on to the draft.
Yeah,
No, you're not.
Too
No, you're
good.
not.
Too good for
Cookie?
cookies.
No,
Frank, how's that cookie back there?
Actually,
Yeah.
I'm like damn, they're so good, and it's in Detroit, so we got to probably order these online if we want
right.
any, right?
That's
We'll
exactly
probably,
right.
or
these are
make
really
a road
good.
trip to Detroit.
We're gonna have to
This
make it a
is
road trip.
the Cinnabon flavored cookie.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Really
winner?
good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my favorite flavor cookie.
The original.
Frank's
Oh, come on. Anyway, thank
All
you
right.
so much to those guys for the cookies.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue on with the show, and we're going to get more cookies for Frank.
For sure. Today's draft, given to tie it in, we had Yogi Berra getting fired by Steinbrenner. At the very end of Yogi Berra's career,
Yep.
lifelong Yankee, one of the Yankee greats of all time, Yogi Berra played 4 games for the New York Mets
Yeah.
at age 40. And it was weird. If you've ever seen a picture of Yogi in the Mets uniform, you're like, what? It seems wrong.
Of course it does.
So today's draft, what we're going to do is we're going to pick players from the 4 major sports, again, who ended their careers with an odd team, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're...
Yeah.
Am I explaining that correctly?
I think so.
Where, like, you almost forget that they played for them at the end of their career. Because
Good players, too.
Yeah, that's right. They've got to be good players.
Yeah.
But you think of them as being on this team or this team, and then you forget that, oh, yeah, they played for this team at the very end.
Yep. That's exactly it.
So it's got to be right at the end of their career.
Right?
Right-
Yeah, like
right at the
it's
end.
it's
Season maybe 2. That's
squeezing that tube of toothpaste out for one last little bit in a very wrong uniform. Yeah.
it. Oh, man. Well, I'm going to kick off this draft.
Excellent.
Under those parameters. And we're taking one from each of the 4 major sports.
We are.
And those 4 major sports again are
Curling, bird watching,
Badminton.
just
badminton,
I think it's
and squash.
baseball, hockey,
We don't
Football.
quite have time for bocce ball.
baseball.
that's right.
Yeah, but we should get back. You're right. We got to spread our wings a little bit more. But at this point, we're doing these 4 major sports, and I'm going to go with Akeem Olajuwon. 17 seasons as a Houston Rocket and 1 final season as a Toronto Raptor. 2001, 2002. Akeem Olajuwon brought his show on the road.
He sure did.
Played for the Raptors. A special memory that most of us have forgotten.
And he had the biggest knee wraps.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was the whole thing was
bueno.
not pretty.
He absolutely did. His entire final year was brought to us by Tensor. That's my first pick.
And the icy hot packs.
Thank you.
That's a solid pick.
Okay, it's to me. I'm going to go to the NHL, and my choice is legendary St. Louis Blue Martin Brodeur,
It's so weird.
which is so weird. He played like 20 years with the Devils, and then in 2014-15, he played 7 games for the St. Louis Blues and then quit. Like, it's the weirdest little, couple of weeks, and seeing him in that uniform was so odd. He's the only New Jersey Devil you think of.
Yeah.
Like, there's only a couple that you really think of when you think of the Devils in history.
Yeah.
He's number 1.
Oh, easily.
And then to see him in the Blues uni was just deeply weird,
Makes
and only
no
for 7
sense.
games.
How,
Yeah.
how did he land in St. Louis though? What?
I think
of all the
he got
teams?
turfed. Like, I think New Jersey kind of edged him out. Like
They did.
they wanted somebody. Corey Schneider, I think, was who they wanted to replace him.
Right. Yeah.
And he was pissed off. So he said, "Well, screw you. I'm going to go play. I'm going to play somewhere else and be great." I think he kind of got there and went, "Oh, this isn't that great, and I'm old, so maybe I should." I mean, I'm. This is conjecture, but it sounded like a lot of that.
And I know that Matt doesn't like rumors or conjecture, if you will. But I'm going to say something.
Allegedly, Matt doesn't.
Well, do you want some? Yeah, okay. So this is the thing. You also know that he does some weird things, right? He does weird things.
Okay.
You realize that Brodeur left his wife for his wife's sister. So he married his wife, divorced, married his wife's sister. He married his wife.
We're going there now.
So he does
Yeah.
odd things, and that's just true, Matt. That's not
Frank,
legend.
Frank, get on the phone to our lawyers.
So just Frank, make sure. But it's true. You heard the story, Frank.
I
hadn't heard that story.
I actually have to say I'm kind of relieved that was the only part of it. When you said
Well-
he does some weird things, I was like, oh
Well,
God,
he-
what are we going to get
But
into?
I remember he dumped his wife, married his wife's sister, and the next thing I saw him on was like an Enterprise rental car commercial where he was picking up his kids, and everyone was happy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those were probably not his real kids.
Yeah, no.
This is not his life right now.
TV kids, yeah.
Yeah, like it's really weird.
Was he wearing a St. Louis Blues jersey?
He was, and then on top of all that, he was a Blues just a hat.
Yeah.
he was just had a Blues hat on.
Legendary St. Louis Blues goalie Martin Brodeur.
Thanks for bringing it all the way back. That's the other sponsor of our show, Enterprise Rent a Car.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Oh wow, we just lost them. Thanks, Marty.
Oh my God! Is it to me?
Yeah.
It is to you.
Is it to me?
There's our nervous chimney sweep, Matt Kippen.
All right.
Our 18th century boot black Matt Kippen.
All right. I'm gonna go with there are a couple teams I could like. Okay, so I'm going with.
Why are you so nervous?
Just make a pick.
It's John Smoltz. I'm going
there we go.
Major League Baseball. I'm going John Smoltz. So after playing 20 years in Atlanta, he finishes up playing both a bit with Boston, a bit with St. Louis in 2009. So I guess I got to go with one of them. I'll choose St. Louis, but it's really in Boston, St. Louis. Either of those two uniforms is going to look weird because John Smoltz had just played 20 years in Atlanta, and just seeing him in anything else is just really weird.
It is.
Especially if you went into the Hall of Fame with a Cardinals cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that would
I'd
be
forgotten all about that.
Not likely.
I kind of remember the Boston blip, but I don't remember St. Louis really at all. I don't know why. That's a great pick. Very obscure. You know, I got to do this because I have a personal recollection. As you know, I can bore the hell out of you with these things. But in hockey, Bobby Orr, legendary Blackhawk.
Yeah.
When Bobby Orr goes to Blackhawks and at the end of his career, it's so confusing because when I was a kid, a friend of mine, his parents, his dad, did video games and pinball games. Like he was a fireman, but on the side he did the arcade thing, and he'd often have a
like
game.
made them or delivered them. Or?
He owned them, so he put them in different arcades and he put them all over
Collect the
town.
money.
Collect the money, right?
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
So anyway, at one point he had the Bobby Orr pinball, and he's in his Blackhawks uniform. So as a kid, I was just like, the Bobby Orr? Like, it confused me so badly. And if any of your friends out there in this day in sports land can track that down, find an image. I got to find the image of the Bobby Orr pinball game where he's a Blackhawk. It's so
That would be
weird.
worth a lot. Well, maybe. That'd be worth some money.
I think it's almost worth more because he's not. In a
Well, that's
Bruins
what I
uniform,
think. Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
very rare.
So weird. Part of my childhood, but I'm going to take that as pick number 2. Bobby
Okay.
Orr as a Blackhawk.
Okay.
Very, very odd. Okay, I'm going to go to the NBA, and I am going to take legendary Orlando Magic center Patrick Ewing,
Yeah.
who finished with
So weird.
4 starts for the Orlando Magic in 01-02 at age 39, averaging 13 minutes a game. Watching him in a Magic uniform was never right. Like, that should never have happened. He is the embodiment of the Knicks for 15 years. It was odd. He was still cashing NBA checks. Good for him, but that was an odd one. So that's my pick. Orlando Magic center Patrick Ewing.
So weird. It's and Matt, forgive me if this is one of your picks. I don't want to name names other than to say
You can do it.
like Shaq is a Celtic.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. Well,
That was your pick?
Yeah.
Was it?
Well, there you go.
Pick in his pocket.
All right, I'll just put it out there right now then. But yeah, it was Shaq as a
I
Celtic.
can't believe it.
He
didn't know
played
that.
he played for a few teams. Boston just felt weird. It was in 2010, 2011.
Yeah,
I missed that completely.
Yeah.
that was
Shaquille
really fat Shaq.
O'Neal.
Great pick, Matt.
Thank you. Well,
Sorry.
Also, I wanna point
really
out-
didn't think you were going there.
Hakeem Olajuwon's year in Toronto and Patrick Ewing's year in Orlando, same season.
Oh, weird.
2 of the all-time great centers playing were in places they shouldn't have been.
The league's
when
got to
they-
do better than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
the league should just say,
yeah.
nope.
No,
you
that's
can't
not gonna
both do
happen.
that.
Here,
No,
you get to collect another year, but we're
Yeah,
not gonna
sure.
let that happen.
you can be on the Knicks bench. All right, to you, Sandy.
Okay, thank you. I'm just I'm kind of feeling bad, Matt.
let's see if I can. Let's see if I mean I could have gone Jordan
you.
a Wizard, but I think that people remember that. I think that Shaq
Yeah,
as Celtic was weirder.
Since basketball is over, how about I thought about Karl Malone as a Laker.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
Or also legendary Orlando Magic forward Dominique Wilkins.
oh man,
Another one
I've
we were
forgotten
like,
completely.
well,
about
yeah,
that.
exactly, right? Or Chicago Bull Robert Parrish.
Oh yeah.
Just
Whoa.
terrible.
That's just
Yeah.
As Frank just said, it shouldn't happen.
That's right. The league should step in.
All right, I'm gonna make a pick. Here we go. I have baseball and football remaining
Yeah.
for the fans out there. Yeah, I think it's this is a weird one. I know. I just think this was there's a lot of good ones in football. Fuck. I'm going back to baseball. This is a long time ago, but still, I think. Geez, it's a real toss up here. You know what? Heck, I'm going to go because it has an interesting story. Ty Cobb is a Philadelphia A.
Okay.
22 years in Detroit as a Tiger, 2 years as an A. And if you know the story, he's accused of betting on games. He basically gets away with it, but they say okay, fine, you can go back and play with your original teams. But as the Tigers are like, this is our out. We don't want Ty Cobb back. So Ty Cobb, kind of out of spite, shocker, signs with Philly to finish out his 2 years. But he was total stink on it because he had been accused of betting and shakily got away with it because one of the witnesses wouldn't step forward. And then he dumped out of Detroit after 22 years and goes down to Philly. So I think that's kind of a weird one from forever ago, of course, but still interesting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go to the NFL. And my weird one, I'm going to
First NFL pick.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm going to pick this one because I didn't even know it.
Okay.
I only stumbled upon it by accident when researching this, and I was like, what? In 1993, at age 33, Eric Dickerson rushed for 26 yards for the Atlanta Falcons.
Wow.
Not on a bet would I have known that.
And that was the end of his career.
That was the end of his career.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the last gasp.
Yeah.
But he had 26 rush yards in 4 games for the Atlanta Falcons in 1993. So that's it. Legendary Atlanta Falcon, Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, and that's a good pick. And I actually didn't know that either. And
I didn't know it until,
yeah. Great pick.
Well,
We got Matt.
That was a good. I think. Gosh, there are a few great NFL ones. I think I'm going to stick around in the NFL right now for this pick. Sandy, do you want to say it, or should I?
Okay.
Oh.
Look, you can rob me once.
Okay.
But honestly, I like to screw
Matt's
you over.
taking
Right.
Shaquille O'Neal.
No,
in the NFL
I'm
as
I'm
well.
going to the
Honestly, for
NFL.
his purpose.
The truth is out there. I'm going with Chris Carter
Yeah.
in Miami
Okay.
in 2002.
Yep.
So after 12 years in Minnesota and 3 in Philly before that, he finished in Miami 2002. Don't remember that.
He had 8 receptions for the Dolphins total. Legendary Dolphin. Okay, last round.
Miami.
Sandy, you got to go to NFL here as well, don't you?
I got to go NFL. And it's a tough one because all 3 of my choices are still out there that I put down here thinking, okay, who am I going to take? This is kind of this. You know what? This was a weird one. And the funny thing is actually, all 3 of my picks have to do with the Raiders. But I think this was a weird one when Tim Brown left the Raiders.
Yeah.
16
years a Raider and finished up with the Bucks. Went to Tampa Bay for one final season in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Just gross.
But that was definitely one of my with ones. But I can tell you because you guys are going to pick football. Jason Witten going to the Raiders, 16 years in Dallas last year. The Raiders, weird.
Yeah.
And then of course Jerry Rice. But I think he played pretty well before he went to Seattle, which was also
right.
weird with Jerry Rice. But I think you can go with that Tim Brown one. It'll be pretty solid.
Yeah.
How about Sean Alexander in Washington?
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Or-
because he was amazing, and then he injuries.
Ed Reed with the Giants.
Wow.
Or, I mean, with the Jets, pardon me.
Jets, yeah. I think about that even
And
even
Dion with the Baltimore Ravens.
And you know what? You know what's going to be the future. I almost did future self is going to be with the Jets again.
Yeah.
I mean, even Brett Favre going to the Jets was pretty weird. But Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets
is going to be very strange.
is
yeah.
going to be very strange. The future us
Yeah.
would pick Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Is that a done deal?
Well,
Seems that way.
I don't know.
it's moving very quickly.
But maybe he'll play there long enough. Like Favre,
Yeah.
look at him. He made
Took
sense.
off after a year and went to Minnesota.
Minnesota,
but,
yeah.
but Rodgers, the Jets.
My sport left
Thank
is baseball. And I am going to pick this one again because I also did not know this until I did the research for this. I am going to take Hall of Fame relief pitcher Lee Smith, who finished his career in 1997 with the Montreal Expos.
Wow.
Oh.
I also did not know
Nope,
that
did
until
not.
doing this.
Nope.
He was 0-1 with a 5.82 ERA and 5 saves, but he petered out in Montreal in 1997. But it didn't hurt his Hall of Fame career that much.
Petered out in Montreal. Now, Frank, that was a play you wrote and directed.
Petered out in Montreal.
1997 at Club Soda. I believe.
Playing in some of your finer theater companies.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Matt, you have a pick left, and you have to go hockey, right?
NHL. Yeah, I got my 3 are all still sitting there like you, Sandy.
Yep.
So I think that you picked Bobby Orr for
did.
yours. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick Brian Leach in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
It's very weird, after he spent a little time in Toronto, 03, 04, but then, finally in Boston in 05, 06. And that's really weird to me. So I'm picking Brian Leach. I just, he's always a Ranger to me.
Oh yeah. So what were some of the ones people had scrapped around?
The one I debated, which nobody picked, was Chris Chelios, Atlanta Thrashers.
Oh man,
7 games.
Oh, I didn't know
at
that.
age 48.
Wow.
That's who he finished his career with.
How about Iginla on the Kings?
Okay.
Yeah.
19 games and 9 points.
How about
Grant Fuhr with the Flames?
how about Mike Modano as a Red Wing?
Yeah.
But that's a really tough one, right? Because he finished with 1,499 games played, and he was like a healthy scratch.
And he goes to the Red Wings, then he signs a 1-day contract. And he was a North Star. He was a first overall pick in '88.
Of Minnesota.
Yeah. He didn't win the Calder that year because the oldest winner of the Calder at 31 years old, Sergei Makarov, won the Calder that year. Modano was 19. Didn't win Rookie of the Year because a 31-year-old won it.
Seems reasonable.
Whoa.
How about legendary St. Louis Blues center Peter Stastny?
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Harmon Killebrew, Kansas City Royals.
Oh man.
William
Reggie White with the Carolina Panthers.
Oh God.
Like
Garcia Pera with Oakland.
yeah.
I also found it interesting. Like, this didn't happen that long ago, but in 2018, do you remember where Jose Batista finished his
2018 Mets.
Yeah. Well, he went Atlanta, Mets, and Philly all in that year.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
In his-
And then didn't he then go and play on like Coney Island with the tornadoes, hurricanes,
Oh, right.
a weather anomaly? I don't know. But I think he went over to AAA.
the weather anomalies.
The weather systems.
Well, this is a great draft that we put together. Let's see how we get judged. All right, it is time to get into the Dork Draft judgment zone. And today we have with us Jeff Sammut, who is a 28-year-old.
Wow.
He's a 28-year-old man. No, he's a 28-year radio veteran and host of Canada Now with Jeff Sammut on Sirius XM Canada Talk Channel 167, which is Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 Eastern. He also hosts his podcast, Remembering with Jeff Sammut. He's only 28 years old, so he doesn't have as much to remember as he might
28. I was born and I got into radio.
Yeah, absolutely. A prodigy.
Jeff Sammut is here. Jeff, of course, we first met. I was working at Second City. I was teaching Second City classes, but I also was on your show when you were on the Fan 590 when I was promoting Slapshot Live.
I've had you on. I've had you on a lot of times, like
a few times. Yeah,
wherever I am, we seem to be following each other around.
Well, I wanted to pay you back and bring you on to our show, This Day in Sports. And we randomly, of course, pick a date. We picked April 29th and grabbed a bunch of different facts and things that happened that day, which led into this draft, which is talking about players who had like legendary careers with one team, and then all of a sudden they ended up at the end of their career somewhere completely different that we may have all forgotten about.
Yeah.
So Jeff, you looked at the list. First of all, do you want to have any questions about this draft?
Okay.
All right. That's a yes.
Okay. How much time do we have?
Hours.
Okay. So are you drafting this might say something about your picks, all of you.
That's fine.
But are you drafting players so that you would succeed, so that you would win at something? Are you what is the basis of who would make up the best team? Most
so really,
the biggest failures or the biggest successes?
I think it was probably like who looked the weirdest in that uniform. Yeah.
That's a good way of looking at it. But
that's
Jeff,
what I was thinking too. Like who? Yeah. What seems the most out of place?
Yeah. That was. I'd say that was the criteria.
Right.
And it really is up to you what it really matters to you. But I think the way to look at it is like, that person just does not make sense, and that uniform is a great way of looking at it.
Well, based on that criteria, this one's tough.
Okay. Well, let's walk down the list. Let's just randomly pick someone like Martin Brodeur with the Blues, for example. Like, what's thoughts about that one?
I have comments on every player.
Right, please. Well, anywhere you want to start.
Something?
I'm just trying to guide you, because right now you seem to like look at this thing and go, this could go so many different ways. So please take anywhere you want to go.
Why do you go by sport too? We could go like the 3 in each sport too, or whatever you like.
Sure. Okay. Well, all right. Let's
Don't get so angry.
Let's go. Let's go with basketball first.
Great.
Okay.
There you go. Now we've got some points.
I could knock all of them off with one comment.
Okay.
Can I name them?
Yeah.
Can I announce them? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So team 1 has Hakeem Olajuwon with the Toronto Raptors. Team 2 has Shaquille O'Neal with the Boston Celtics. Team 3 has Patrick Ewing with the Orlando Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the theme with all 3 of those is they're all big men.
Yeah.
Experienced, very successful big men.
Mhm.
So I can see how a team would acquire a player like that at the end of their career when clearly their best years are behind them, because there's always been a lack of big men in the NBA. So even at half their best, they're better than at least a third of every other center in the NBA. So I can see how those players would change teams. So that's kind of like a straightforward comment about every one of those picks. But here's I have a bone to pick with Shaquille O'Neal with the Boston Celtics. Yes, looks very weird in a Celtics uniform, but I am more looking for picks here of a player that's been with a team for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then hopped over to that team.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Because I look at it so bugs me when a player spends 13 years with a team and then even for 20 games, one season on another team.
Yeah.
Because legacy matters to me. Like, I would rather the player retired.
Yeah.
Right.
Jumped onto another team. So
and Shaq jumped around a lot.
He did. I mean, I think it was with 6 teams altogether.
Mm.
And that's after 3 amazing stints with Orlando, the Lakers, and the Heat. More so the Lakers and the Heat.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like with that player, you got used to seeing him in different uniforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then he jumped around with Phoenix and Cleveland and the Celtics. You could say Shaq with Cleveland. You could say Shaq with Phoenix. So I'm eliminating that.
Okay.
Eliminating Shaq.
All right.
Okay.
Ewing with the Magic looked just as strange with the Seattle Supersonics the year before.
Yeah.
So I'm giving a slight edge to Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Team number 1 in that
Fair enough.
category.
Okay.
Am I taking up too much time? Am I?
No,
that's perfect.
no. We rented our individual basements in your studio for all night. So
I'm hoping to talk until my kids go to bed. So
great.
I'm probably going to be here for a few hours.
Great. You're hiding out.
Okay.
Clearly you're hiding.
I won't be doing.
They're going to come in Shaq Celtic jerseys.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I have a surprise for you. I have
Okay.
surprise for you all.
Okay, we're ready.
When I get to my picks, okay?
Foreshadowing. Oh, your picks. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Well, I made picks.
Good. Hey, take it easy, Jeff.
Jesus.
Gee, you're so mad about your kids and everything.
Sorry, I get really intense with this because damn it, legacy matters. And
Yeah.
I have a bone to pick with all of the players that we're going to mention here.
Okay.
So in hockey, team number 1, Bobby Orr with the Chicago Blackhawks. Without knowing everybody's picks, that was my hockey pick. So I had to pick something else later.
Okay. All right.
So Bobby Orr with the Chicago Blackhawks, Brian Leach, with team 2 with the Boston Bruins, and then Martin Brodeur with the Blues. Now, this is a tough one because I wasn't around in the Bobby Orr era, but
You're only 28.
because I'm only 28,
Very young.
I can barely remember Hakeem Olajuwon. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, oh, that guy looked weird in that uniform because I didn't have all those years of seeing Bobby Orr in a Boston Bruins uniform. Having said that, whenever it was that I learned that Bobby Orr finished his career with Chicago, that made no sense to me.
Yeah.
That was odd. So Martin Brodeur with the Blues, that affected me more.
Yeah.
Because, I was around for him being with the Devils, and then he ends up with the Blues. Leach, I got used to seeing him with the Leafs, and then he ended up with the Boston Bruins. So I'm only dismissing that because he had a couple of runs after his legacy with the Rangers. So I think I'm going to go, and again, it's only personal. I'm going to go with Martin Brodeur But really, the winner should be Bobby Orr. But you're asking me what looks the strangest to me.
Yeah,
it would have to be because of this era.
Your
And this-
criteria is your own.
I think that most people forget the Brodeur to the Blues.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them might have a inkling, maybe the Orioles, Blackhawks, but the Blue. Yeah,
Well,
that's true. But
and-
they're
and-
both weird. They're both equally weird. Let's
And
be honest.
Orr was there for 3 years. He was
Yeah.
there for 3 years.
Barely played.
And he missed a year.
Yeah.
In total, he played 26 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20, I think 20 some odd games, maybe 20 games in the first year. Then he missed a whole year. Then he
Yeah.
played like 6
Well,
games in his last year.
We talked earlier about why we remember this, and there was a Bobby Orr pinball game that came out in the 70s, early 80s that he was in a Blackhawks uniform on the
Weird.
pinball. Yeah, so weird.
That's weird. Now with Brodeur only played 7 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked it up and it was just 7 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So I think that was like a blink if you missed it. So I'm going to
Oh,
go with
absolutely.
Sam Brodeur.
Okay.
But that's certainly up for debate. Baseball, team 1, Ty Cobb with the Philadelphia A's. By the way, he had 357 and 323 in his
Yeah.
final 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
They were
that's-
throwing underhand.
We were talking about this too because he ended up there. He ended up there because he was suspected of gambling on games, and the commissioner said you can play again. And Detroit said basically this is our out. We
yeah,
don't want him. We don't want him anymore.
this guy's a
And
jerk.
away
We
he
gotta
went.
get
Away he
out
went.
of this guy. So you got Ty Cobb with the Philadelphia A's in team number 1. With team 2, you got John Smoltz with the Red Sox and Cardinals. And yeah, that's like a double whammy, isn't it? After all those years with Atlanta.
Yeah.
But he started his career with the Detroit Tigers. So, but you know, obviously you think of him with the Atlanta Braves. And then Lee Smith with the Expos. I dismiss that right away. Again, I go with legacy. Lee Smith, how many teams he played? He played with 8 teams.
Yeah.
He don't look weird, and he looked weird in like 5 uniforms.
Sure.
Sure.
I'm dismissing Lee Smith. I apologize to Sandy, Mike.
No.
So I'm dismissing that altogether. I'm gonna go with John Smoltz for the reason earlier about having actually seen John Smoltz and
Yeah.
not having seen
Yeah.
Ty Cobb. I'll bet if you ask most people who did Ty Cobb play for, they'd be like, I don't
They
know.
wouldn't know. And either way, his uniform would have been gray anyway.
Yes, everything was in black and white.
It would have been like
Oh, yeah.
one letter different. That would have been it. Like, it would have been
It
heavy.
would have been like-
wool.
I don't
Yeah,
know what
it
he
wouldn't
was
matter.
with.
I think that I think to put a button on what you said though about Cobb was he was still a good player. He was just such an asshole that Detroit wanted nothing to do with him that
Totally.
badly. Yeah.
Totally. They
Now,
found a reason to
before-
get rid of him.
Before
Yeah.
we get to football, I would like to say, for drama's sake, I do believe, without giving away any teams or anything, we've each had one pick.
That's right.
We've each won one
I'm
category.
Yes.
I'm
that's right.
circling as I go, which is not
Yes.
influencing my decision. Okay.
Okay.
So now with football, Tim Brown with the Tampa Bay Bucks, 15 games, scored 1 touchdown. That's for team 1. Team 2, Chris Carter with the Dolphins, 5 games. Again, blink if you missed it, 1 touchdown. And then Eric Dickerson with team number 3, playing with the Falcons, 4 games, no touchdowns. But he played with the Raiders the year before.
Hmm.
I feel like I got to eliminate that.
Hmm.
I think this is a toss-up because it's coming down to Tim Brown or Chris Carter. And I both think of them good receivers. Great, it's debatable, but good receivers having been with teams a very long time. So you got Tim Brown with the Raiders for all those years, Chris Carter with the Vikings for all of those years. So
And
it's
the
a
Eagles, all
toss-up.
right? Wasn't Chris Carter Eagles as well?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. All he did
He
was
was
catch
Eagles.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm going with Tim Brown just because of that long time he was with the Raiders.
Yeah.
I only picture him in black and silver.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Tim Brown, which declares team 1 the winner.
There we go.
Let me just
There
say
we go.
again, bullshit.
Well, hey, listen.
I take
think-
it Mike is not team 1.
No, I'm team 1.
Mike was team 3. Mike, were you team 3?
Mike was
Yes.
team 3. Yes.
Danny with his late lobby of Chris Carter playing for Philly there.
Yeah, I
was-
had to do it. I had to pull
Yeah,
a Kippen
got
move.
to. Yeah, you got.
I had to pull a Kippen move. You got to pull
Sure.
a Kippen to beat a Kippen.
Get his way. Yeah.
But
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
But that's a great analysis, obviously, and it's good to get a victory after Matt's won the past 14 weeks. I think Matt's won more weeks than we have episodes.
I printed it out. I wrote notes.
You did.
Pro.
I took this very seriously. I took
The analysis was keen. Like that was really good. We've had some vague analysis of drafts in the past. That
Very
was
vague.
good and specific. You knew what you're talking about.
I mean, Glenn Healy did a lot of talking, but not a lot of research.
No.
Jeff Sammut does research.
That's right.
Gills is a good talker. He's a good talker.
He's great.
We're not done. We're not done, are we? We've given our teams, but
That's right.
you've got your own team, don't you?
Okay, I got my own team. And I don't think you can debate this. Well, okay, you can. That's the whole point.
Oh, we can't criticize.
And we will.
Okay, so I kind of like, I haven't seen this player, da 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 da. But when you're a Yankee, you're a Yankee. So with baseball, I went with Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Finishing his career with the Boston Braves. 28 games and 6 home runs. So really, if you average it out, he would have had a great year.
Yeah.
If he managed to play the entire year. But
Yeah, if I may, though, he played for the Red Sox before that, though.
He did. Yes.
You're going back on your own criteria. Again, bullshit.
I am, but I'm making an exception because it's the Yankees.
Because it's Babe
talk
Ruth.
about legacy. That's legacy. We're talking about the greatest player that ever lived with the New York Yankees.
Okay.
So he's enshrined, at Yankee Stadium, a lot of stuff. But yeah, I hear you. Number 2, I'm going with hockey for the next one. Gordie Howe with the Hartford Whalers.
Yeah.
Oh, good one.
Old,
Yeah.
51 years old with Hartford, and it's also the color of the uniform.
Yeah.
Red Detroit Red Wings jerseys, and then a green Hartford Whalers jersey in a different league.
Yeah.
And he's 51. He should have been retired like 10 years earlier. You know what I'm saying? For anybody else.
I was
one of us should have gotten that one. Yeah.
a side vote. Which logo do you guys like better, the Whalers logo or the Red Wings logo?
Well, that's a toss-up.
Good logos.
I like the Whalers logo, but Detroit
Whalers is great.
Red Wings is pretty classic.
Yeah.
It is.
Matt,
And they're still a team.
Yeah.
And they're still there.
I go Whalers.
I have nostalgic, like the Whalers is pretty great. I mean, you can't go wrong with either, but maybe if I had to wear one on a hat.
Yeah.
And you've been a big Blaine Stoughton guy for a long time. You love him.
And I'm talking about the Whalers tail W, not the Fudgy the Whale one they had originally.
No.
Fudgy
Yeah. Fudgy the Whale. No.
Not that one. Not that one.
All right. Now for my basketball pick.
Yeah.
I got to go with.
Visual aids.
Visual aid. I pulled that out of the back of the closet.
Nice work.
You don't rock that a lot? You don't wear that a lot, Jeff?
It's a Jordan Wizards jersey for those only listening on the podcast. It's a Jordan.
And by the way,
Wizards
I'm in my mid-40s. For me to put on a jersey with someone else's name on it, there's got to be really extenuating circumstances at this point. I don't know if I could do that. But he's older than me, so I can get away with it.
That's true. As long as he's older than you, that's important.
Yeah, we talked about Jordan on the Wizards, and the only hit I had against it is like you see that maybe you do a double take in the bar or something, but you're like, oh yeah, I remember that he. It's not so. I remember that he was there. It's not so much like, wait, did he even play? Did Brown even play for? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's less an afterthought. I get what you mean, and he's such a big household name. How do you forget he played with another team?
It was like the experience of being in a vintage jersey shop once, and I saw a Favre Falcons jersey, and it was just like, oh man, whoa,
where he started versus instead of where he ended.
But I love that somebody had that jersey made for themselves or bought that specific jersey. Yeah. It's so great.
I had a friend of mine that purposely bought jerseys and had to get them made of like obscure jerseys like that. Like he went and got a Martin Brodeur Devils jersey with number 29 because technically that's the first number he wore.
Oh, right.
And I said, you have a lot of money to waste because you're just going to a game wanting attention. You want people to go, hey, buddy, he's not number 29. He was number 30. And then you turn around and go, well, actually.
Yeah, I think you get that jersey if your favorite word is actually, because you want to be using that a lot.
Actually. So with football, it's a toss-up. You mentioned Brett Favre. I went with him, but he played with the Jets and Minnesota.
Right.
So, so I wasn't sold on that. So I also went with Joe Montana, who ended with Kansas City.
That hurt me a lot. Those 2 years. Yeah.
He had a couple of good years. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. That's what hurt.
Are you a Niners fan?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I know.
I'm a Giants fan, so
it might have been worth it though for that Elway Montana game. That was a legendary matchup when that game was so good.
And the game where he came back to Candlestick and beat Steve Young.
Yeah,
that was a really conflicted day.
Yeah.
He was also wearing a different number too. He was wearing 19.
Yeah.
I thought all of this was spurred on by Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets and wearing number 8.
It was coincidental that this was the week that Rodgers finally signed. It was actually perfect timing, but it was not why we did the draft. It just happened to happen. Was it the day of, or was it like this week? I'm trying to remember what day that was that happened today. We were talking about the draft, and it was like
I think Rodgers. Yeah.
But number 8, huh? Is that where he's at?
Well, that was his college number, so he went with 8.
Okay.
And Joe Namath actually told him he could wear number 12 with the Jets, and he said, "No way, I'm not touching that number. That's your number."
Yeah.
So this Namath, of course, wearing number 12. So that would have been my picks. But again, I made those picks before actually knowing what the criteria.
You still seem to have followed the criteria as far as I'm concerned. Those are all weird final places to go.
Strange.
Yeah.
I had a number of other mostly from hockey. I remember more from hockey, like Mike Modano with Detroit.
Yeah.
Weird one.
A lot of Detroit ones. Boyer Salming, Daryl Sittler.
Yeah.
And Sittler with the Flyers too. So there were a number of hockey ones that I was like,
talking about Howard Chuck going.
Yeah. Flyers.
Trache with the Penguins.
You mentioned Namath. Didn't he go to the Rams at one point, or
who's that?
Joe Namath, didn't he?
Yeah.
The Rams
right at the end. Yeah.
Even for me as a Colts fan, it's Peyton going to the Broncos was weird. Like in hindsight, you're like,
true,
shit.
Yeah. I got to say this out loud, guys, too. We got to have Jeff back, and we'll do a draft of guys who played their whole career with just one team.
Yeah.
Legacy players.
Where like they never went anywhere else, and who's the best kind of thing. Like that would be a good one.
Yeah.
We had George Brett lined up, but fuck it. Jeff's doing it.
That's why he's wearing the Royals hat.
That's it.
I've also got a George Brett jersey, but it's all the way upstairs.
But it's George Brett with the Expos, weirdly.
Yeah, real strange choice.
Well, that beats Lee Smith with the Expos.
Well, that was my criteria was exactly that. Like, I didn't even remember. I'm Canadian and a big baseball guy, and I didn't even remember that he played. Like, that was like, I don't even remember seeing that. That's why I picked it, because I was just like, there's no way. But he finished with them and ignominiously too. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I mean, at the end of the day, you didn't win. It's tough.
Yeah. Again.
Frank Thomas might have been a good pick, but again, he played with a couple of teams. I mean,
he did.
The Blue Jays, Oakland. Oakland. Anytime somebody goes to Oakland, the uniform looks really odd on them.
Piazza at the end with Oakland.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Piazza. How about Piazza with the Florida
Padres?
I know he played Dodgers.
That weird blip with the Marlins. Yeah.
Remember, for 5 seconds, he was with the Marlins.
I even forgot that like Delgado played a whole year for the Marlins too before he went to the Mets.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like a weird dumping ground for certain contracts. There's always these deals are making.
And they trade them away again.
Yep.
I mean, they won a couple of World Series.
I know.
Buying a bunch of players in '97 certainly.
Bottom one and then get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Fans love that.
Oh sure.
Yeah, no kidding.
No consistency at all.
Yeah.
Jeff, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks for making your own list. I believe at this point you're only the second guest we've had that made your own list. We had more or less making walk-up songs, and I think this is the second one. So we love it when our guests do. We don't always want to put that burden on them, but you just jumped in and did it, and
that's right.
I'm so glad you did.
If you ever do that legacy thing, call me.
Yeah,
I'll be the guy.
I'm gonna be thinking about it 5 seconds after we hang up.
I'm already doing it in my head. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, hiding from his kids, thinking of lists.
Daddy's working.
I'm gonna disconnect, but I'm gonna talk for about 2 hours to nobody.
That's fair.
So it sounds like I'm busy down here.
Jeff, thanks so much. We're definitely gonna have you back.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jeff. That was great.
Okay, a few didn't think of, and a few regrets. Always. I mean, the draft can be disheartening for you.
Yeah.
But Matt, you seem to win a lot.
Oh, I don't know that that's true.
But you're finishing your career on this podcast. So
That's true. I'm going out in style.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that was a great draft. I think we all had
that was
a
a
lot of
fun
fun.
one. That's a super fun draft. And you know what? We often will get some comments, especially on our Instagram. This Day in Sports 8?
8, yes.
This Day in Sports 8, we'll say the comments. People want to just randomly put a comment on there. Anytime we miss something.
Yeah.
Is there somebody we missed? Someone think we don't, or something we don't agree with? We welcome the comments on Instagram.
Please
do that because we will miss some. We always say it's a little shoddy, the research. We're more fun than facts, if you will.
Yeah.
But we had a great time. That was April 29th, This Day in Sports. I'm Sandy.
I'm Matt.
I'm Mike.
And
Oh, that's me. How
hey,
you doing?
Frank. That's
I'm
Frank
Frank.
back there.
That's Frank back there.
That's Frank back there holding down the fort. See you soon.